Hi friends, it's day 5 and our final day of fall baking and treat week for our holiday themed weeks, and today we have some delicious cinnamon rolls. Last year during the Bake Fest, I took a class from Stephanie Reed of Deliciously Bold. She showed us how to make cinnamon rolls and dinner rolls, and these are so delicious. I've only made them a couple of times, but they are amazing. And I decided to take that base recipe that she gave us during her class and play around with it a little bit. So instead of just water, I did a mixture of pumpkin puree and some water. And of course, I also added some pumpkin pie spice and a little extra cinnamon to the actual batter itself. After mixing everything together, kind of kneading it for a while, then we're going to transfer it to a greased bowl and let it proof for a little while. And a really cool tip for proofing our dough that I learned from Baker Betty is that instead of having to use a damp cloth over the top, you can actually use a plastic shower cap. Of course, after it proofs, we're going to generously flour our surface and roll out our dough into a nice thin layer. And then she actually adds melted butter, spreads it all over the top, and then adds a very generous amount of cinnamon and sugar mixture. So of course I did those steps, but in addition to doing pumpkin for the actual dough itself, I had apple compote on hand that I had already made. So I decided to use the rest that I already had available and just put it in the center and spread it all out. After spreading our apple compote as evenly as possible, then we're going to cut a line right down the center. Instead of rolling these into really gigantic cinnamon rolls, I decided to cut it in the middle lengthwise and make smaller cinnamon rolls this time. After rolling up our cinnamon rolls, I used a serrated knife to make little lines along the top to see where I wanted to cut. And then to actually cut the cinnamon rolls, I use unflavored floss. You just simply put it underneath and then pull it through, and it actually cuts it really nice so it doesn't squish it down. It keeps its nice circular shape. Once they're all cut, we're going to pop them into our trays to bake them off, let them cool just a little bit, and then add our cream cheese frosting over the top. In addition to our cream cheese frosting for these, I absolutely love caramel when paired with pretty much anything, but especially with apple or pumpkin during the fall season, so why not add caramel on top? Using a piping bag, we're piping a generous drizzle of caramel sauce over the top, and then I decided to do the opposite way and do a double drizzle over the top of the entire big sheet pan that I made here. These were all baked really, really close together, but I also baked some of the extras in a separate sheet pan, and they had a little bit more room to expand, so they're a little bit more circular, not as square, but both versions turned out very delicious. And of course, I did the same caramel drizzle over the top of those ones as well. Honestly, these turned out even better than I was hoping. They were so delicious, and everybody really, really enjoyed them that I gave them to. So I will definitely need to make these again, but as always, I'm very curious. What do you think of these, and would you give them a try? Make sure to let me know in the comments, and of course, stay tuned for more fun content during our holiday series.